Hey, Venice family. I hope you have had a wonderful week. This is your brother Abel Mejia, and just wanted to take a moment of your time, if it's okay, to talk a little bit about what really stood out to me this past Sunday from Pastor Nathan's sermon on how the questions we may have are eclipsed by our resolve in Christ Jesus. And I felt that was a very powerful reminder because it reminded me of a time when I was in high school. Um, and was faced with a lot of questions. Now, oftentimes when we're thinking about high school, we're thinking about what college we're going to go to, what's my future going to be like, are my friends real, does this person like me, this and this, that, and that. Very typical high school questions. But when I think about my high school, I think there was a lot more existential burdens at the time. I know there was a lot of questions regarding my personal safety, my personal livelihood, and essentially what would become of my life. And there was a really deep desire to have hope in something and to hold on to a not just any kind of hope, but a persevering hope, something that was greater than myself and would honestly preserve me through such a circumstance. And it was that desire and that burning hope that really brought me to really pursue this idea, or rather, pursue this Christ that I didn't really have a strong resolve in or didn't really know. And I remember at the time that desire to persevere despite the overwhelming questions that I had really brought me to look through the book of Psalms in the scriptures. And I remember one psalm in particular. It was Psalm 13, and I will recite it because I think this was very reflective of what I was going through at the time. And so Psalm 13 goes on to read, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Light up my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say, I have prevailed over him, lest my foes rejoice before I am shaken. But I have trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." And I remember in that psalm reading it, I didn't really know or have a hope in such a steadfast love, but I wanted to. I wanted to know the steadfast love. I wanted to know what it was to have my heart rejoice in such a salvation. And I remember at this time of reading it, I had so many questions, just abundance of questions. And it seemed like for every question I had, every answer was just pointing in the direction of my destruction, um, in my lack, in my demise, per se. But when I look back at my life, and I look back at how much I recited this psalm and how this was essentially a heart cry of mine at the time, to see how God had moved so mightily, so powerfully, and had taken those questions and not just answered them verbally, but had taken them and overshadowed my worries, my doubts, and my fears with so much breakthrough, with so much resolve, and so much hope and redemption that looking back at my life, even though I couldn't see the answer, it was that resolve to hold on to that living hope, to persevere in a persevering God, and to ultimately yield myself to Him. That I truly saw my life was changed and transformed. I know a lot of us go through seasons where, you know, things can be challenging and it's hard to be resolved in it. But I think what really stood out to me is that in reflecting on God's faithfulness, how great our resolve can be in times of peace, how great our times can be, how great our resolve can be when even we don't have questions, that we can embark on asking deeper questions and know that there is deeper substance to a holy and mighty God. That even when our life is not plagued with what ifs or what could be's, um, we can still abound and a joy of asking what next, what is the next step, or even more so, how much more can I dive into you, O Lord? How much more can I receive and know of you, and how much more can I show others of who you are? There are questions that truly do eclipse our own. There are questions that truly do reflect our own mortality, but in Christ, there is a deeper abundance of questions, a deeper variety of questions that really reflect a deeper journey, a deeper faith, and a deeper submission to the resolve that we have in Christ Jesus. And so I pray that this be a week where we can really dive into those questions, whether it's questions about where we stand in our own mortality, in our own lives, that we can embark on a deeper journey and yield those questions over to God, and in our resolve have deeper questions, not just for the purpose that God has for us, but also the purpose that we can really stand for in the present moment for others around us. So thank you guys for your time. I hope you have a blessed day. God bless you all. Goodbye.